Alright, it's Barry and today on Grow It, it's time to pull out all those lettuces in the greenhouse and get some peppers in. So we're in the big greenhouse, and as you can see behind me, I've got a bed full of lettuces. I mean, they're absolutely enormous lettuces at that. They've been in here for a couple of weeks now, and they're definitely ready to be pulled out and harvested. But I've been waiting for my peppers and my chilies to grow a bit. Basically, I had a couple of setbacks. I've mentioned it in other videos. I've done like my tour at the weekend. Basically, everything got off to a really slow start, just mainly because of the weather and everything. I grew my chilies in a heated propagator, but it didn't really. I don't think it was warm enough, so they was fairly slow getting off. But they did start growing, and then a mouse ate them all in the other greenhouse. It took a bit of a fancying for the leaves. It just ate the leaves, left the stems, so I had to restart again. That was maybe February or March, maybe. So I'm not entirely sure on the times on that. But yeah, they're quite a bit behind where they should be. But they are big enough that I'm quite happy to start planting them in here because they are in pots at the moment, and it's not very good compost. The stuff that I used just wasn't very good quality at all, it turned out. So I'm not happy really keeping them in those pots for much longer. So I'd rather get them out, get them into the ground, give them that space to grow and all those nutrients. And hopefully by getting all this sun and warmth in this greenhouse as well, they'll really start to take off. So I'm going to pull all these lettuces out, get the peppers in, and hopefully they'll get off to a good start to summer. And in a couple of weeks' time, they'll maybe start flowering and get those chilies growing and those peppers as well. I've got a couple of varieties and I'll go through those in a minute. So yeah, first job, let's get those lettuces pulled out before my legs explode because I'm crouching down and my shins feel like they're going to burst. So as you can see, I've got 10 lettuce plants growing in here. I've got 10, haven't I? Yeah, 10 lettuce plants growing in here, and a tomato plant that's managed to find its way in there somehow with seeds or whatever. And yeah, they're absolutely amazing. The slugs have started getting at them a bit, so I was going to put some beer traps in here and get rid of the slugs, but I'll get rid of those at the weekend. I'll do that at the weekend. So I need to get these lettuces out, and I've got a selection of pepper plants that I'm going to be putting in, and I'm pretty much going to be going around the same spacing because these don't get as big as like the tomato plants. I've only put one row of those in this year with the direct sowed marigolds and things that are stuck in all of that bed. So I am going to just go with, I think I've got 10 plants maybe for in here. I'm going to put some in that grow bag with the cucumber plants as well because they're like fairly similar nutrient levels, so they'll be happy living together. So the first thing I've got to do is pull all of these out, and they're absolutely amazing, and it's a shame to pull them out, but that's the whole point of doing it. So these are going to be going out today, and I'll start with this one. Oh, my legs are absolutely killing me. Get rid of that soil off there. So these are, the slugs living underneath, sneaking about. So this is Butterhead. And yeah, they've grown really nicely actually. They've got really nice dense heads on them. Nice bit of a wash, and that'll be absolutely smashing. It's only really the bottom leaves that the slugs have been getting at as well, so I mean they can all just come off sort of for a clean up. And look, they're just there, there's one. Once all this gets washed up and cleaned up and take them bits off underneath, that'll be a really nice lettuce. You've got a nice amount of roots on there, and that's what I like, that these come up with the root ball. They've got grow plugs on because they've been grown hydroponically to start them off before they've been planted into the ground. So they have got a grow plug on there, a rockwool one. Move that soil out of the way, you can still sort of see it there. And that gives you a really good root ball and plenty of room for that root to develop and make a really strong plant. So get rid of all these little bits off there. So yeah, I've got 4 of these, no 6, I've got 6 of these in there, really nice lettuces. That weighs an absolute ton. I need to get some scales for the allotment so I can start weighing things like this because that would be really handy to know. So there's one. And they come out so easy as well. There's like no damage to the plant. And that's really nice lettuce. I'm really pleased with how these have turned out this year. I mean, they was pretty good last year, to be honest. I grew them in this bed last year while I was waiting for the peppers to go in, and I don't know if they were this good because it's so dense. I mean, that's probably close to like 200 grams. It's really heavy. I think this one's probably the biggest one. Not this one that I'm pulling out, but yeah, I've got 4 of those. I keep saying 4, I've got 6, and they're all really nice. These are the same ones that I've got growing in the polytunnel in the hydroponics tray. So you can see a bit of a difference between the 2 methods. I mean, the ones in the polytunnel are really overcrowded anyway, so they're not going to be anything like the quality that these are. Growing so close together. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by how nice they are. They're not going to be as filled out as this. They're not going to make such a nice head on them. They're going to go leggier and longer because they're all competing for the light. They're all competing for the nutrients in that water as well. So they're just in that sort of a tray. They're not going to be as nice as these in a proper hydroponic system. Yeah, there's no reason why they wouldn't be this big or this nice. Grown under LED, they probably won't fill out as much as this because these are getting proper sunlight. I mean, I don't see hydroponic lettuces growing like that. Despite it being my job, I will say that it's hard to achieve that sort of density in the lettuce leaf with LED. I mean, they're perfectly good, and they're more nutritional than these. They're really nice, and you don't get slugs, which is another good thing with hydroponics, but those lettuces are absolutely brilliant. Save this one till last because that's definitely the best one. Oh, there we go, that's come up with a nice small root ball on it. These wilt really fast. I don't know if these will even make it home. These are more of a cut and come again kind of variety. So I'd grow these, and I mean these leaves come off super easy. They just come off like that. You can take whatever you want home for your lettuce salad or whatever. Put them on your burgers. This is Extranet. It's a really nice variety. It's got these nice pointed leaves on it. That's really nice. And again, this is really heavy. It's really dense. And like I say, I've got loads of these growing, so I'm not too bothered if this doesn't make it. I mean, to be honest, I probably could have moved it and planted it and have it as a cut and come again variety because they are nice for that. Slightly different flavours. The butterhead, the leaves are crispier as well. They're a bit like a Lola Rossa. Really nice lettuces though. Slightly stronger flavour, I'd say. They're more of, not bitter, but a sharper flavour. Maybe bitter, I don't know. But yeah, really nice. Really pleased with those. These did grow really big last year again. I think it might have been my Mayto for 2022 where I'd harvested those and they were really good. Let's have a look at this one. This is the nicest one. Oh, and look at the root ball on that. It's absolutely enormous. That's a red Batavia. Get all this soil off. That's falling apart there at the bottom. Maybe a bit too rough pulling it out, but ready for harvesting, so it doesn't really matter. Again, rock wool plug on the bottom, really nice root ball, and that's a really nice lettuce. You could probably put that in a competition, I reckon. But yeah, it's really nice. It's like I say, it's red Batavia. Obviously, you can notice it's got this really nice dark red colour. That's the anthocyanin in the leaves, which is a bit of a stress response from the plant to UV light. So it's a bit like It's a bit like if you go out in the sun and you get a tan, or if you go on the sunbeds or whatever, you get a tan from all that excess UV, creating that response in your skin to produce extra pigments to reduce that damage. It's basically the plant trying to stop itself from getting too much damage from the UV light. So it makes this darker pigment which restricts that light coming through and damaging those cells within the plant. I mean, you can see underneath it's still green because that UV light isn't touching the underside of the plant. It is a bit there. I mean, that's where it's penetrating straight through the leaves and getting those leaves underneath. But you can see that lighter colour underneath is because that sunlight isn't touching it and it's not getting that anthocyanin response and making those dark colours in the leaves. So any red lettuce, any red plants is anthocyanin, but that is what causes those lettuces to go red. It's that stress response to UV light making those leaves go red. And then we've got what? We've got like, that could be a pepper plant maybe. I'm not sure. That could have self-seeded off the plants there last year. We've got a tomato plant. I don't want that in there. Loads of weeds. So this is, to be honest, this is one of my favourite beds on the allotment. I prefer it even to that side. I don't know if I've just done something right when I've been sorting this bed out throughout like the last couple of years while I've been here. I mean, this, while it was here, was just like it was outside. If you've seen my tours and everything, you'll know exactly what it looks like out there. And if you've been watching for a couple of years, you'll have seen a couple of different beds developing and what I've restarted beds and done beds from scratch. I mean, this was a bed from scratch. And the soil at the allotment, for anyone new watching, it's absolutely awful. It's like really hard, horrible dust. There's not very much organic matter in it. It's been derelict for a long time, and a lot of the weeds have stripped it of any nutrients. So, not a lot of organic matter in it. So it's took quite a while to get everything kicking in here and getting beds in particular working nicely, because that just getting organic matter into it's been the key. I mean, I've put quite a bit of compost in here, which has really helped. That was a pepper plant. There's another one. But yeah, getting that organic matter in and keeping the weeds, that's one of the hardest things, because on the allotment I've got loads of horsetail, absolutely tons of bindweed that I can't keep on top of. Let's get rid of these weeds and then we're ready to go. But yeah, this bed is one of my favourites. It's really loose, it's really nice, drains really well. And I really like peppers, so that's why they get this nice place over everything else. Still got that irrigation system in there. I did make that in a video a couple of weeks ago. If you haven't seen that already, I'll go through all of that, putting all this piping in, putting all these drippers in. There's possibly enough there for these plants, so I'll have a look at how that goes, and I'll probably just I'll leave that as it is, because it's not going to need changing at all, really, I don't think. What have I got there? 8. Oh, maybe I'll have to put a couple of extras in, but I can't be bothered doing that today. I want to go home and have my tea. Oh. So, California Wonder Gold, and you can see what I say with these. They're really small. This one in particular, but I've got 2 of these, and I've got like 1 single plant of other varieties, so I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to just leave them in the pots and let them die. So I'm just going to plant them anyway. I'm sure they're gonna do fine. Oh, until I dropped it. I'm sure they're gonna do fine, and catch up a bit. So I'm not particularly fussed if they don't. I'll find somewhere else to plant in there later in the year if that's the case. But I'm just going to put them in rows of 2. See, like a big massive rock. Yeah, that's another thing. My soil is full of bricks, rocks, glass, all sorts of rubbish. And this is right at the end of the bed, so I've probably not dug this out as much as I have the rest of it. So I've also left my spade or my little trowel in the polytunnel, which is absolutely useless, and I can't be bothered going getting it. So I'm just going to use my hands to dig all these out. So I've done my labels already, they're ready to go in. So California Wonder Gold, it's your ordinary bell pepper that you'd sort of pick up at the shops. Your sort of traditional sweet pepper shape. And as the name suggests, they're yellow, or a nice orangey yellow, which is sort of gold. Yeah, I'm really happy to get these in actually, and then I can give them a good watering. I've already watered this bed, but I can start giving them a really good watering and they can draw from all the soil that's around them, because being stuck in these pots, they're drying out too fast and they're just not happy at all. So I'm going to be happier getting them in. So I'll tell you what I'll do, because I'll absolutely do it wrong if I don't. I'm just going to put them in and work out where the spacing is. Oh, put them there. 2 asters. And these are close. These are quite close together, to be honest. I'm not bothered. They'll be fine. I always put everything too close together and they always work out fine. So again, California Wonder 300 TMR. Again, it's another small plant, but I'm going to say this for all of them, they can just go in. So these, again, similar to those ones, your traditional sweet bell pepper, but these come in all the colours, so you've got the red, green, yellow, orange, depending on I don't know whether that's the variety's going to make all of those. I know that it's to do with ripening and stuff, but I don't know if these have been bred specifically to make specific coloured peppers, or whether you just leave these ones on to ripen and go from green to yellow, orange, red. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see. That's one of those nice mysteries for later in the year when I find out what we're going to get. This one's much nicer. It's dried out a bit today because I couldn't get able to water this morning, so they only got watered just today, and it's been absolutely boiling, so it's a bit sad, but it's going in now, so it's gonna be fine once it gets in here. Much nicer roots on that one. Fairly confident that one's gonna do well. There we go. And the thing is, these have been growing for so long. They've been in the greenhouse for absolutely ages. And I've got jalapenos that I've been growing for 30... less than 30 days, around 30 days, less than a month. Oh, no. There's the cucumbers. The jalapenos are 36 days. And they're absolutely massive. I'll see if I can put a video in of those. I'm sure I've got one. And they're absolutely enormous. They're growing in hydroponics, and that's the big difference. They're getting proper grow lights, 16 hours a day. So it's like getting 16 hours a day of direct sunlight. So they're really happy. They're like 27 degrees day and night. So pretty much perfect conditions for those. Constant water, constant nutrients. And they're so much bigger than these in such a short time. So I'm not too worried. You know, if these don't take off, I'm sure they're going to do, but if they don't, I've still got all of those hydroponic plants that are going to fill in anything missing. So this one, Scotch bonnet, nice chili pepper. I've only got one of those. I've not got many of those seeds left actually. I sowed loads of them this year and I've only got that one plant to show for it. We've got Romano, which is your long pepper, another sweet pepper. The ones that you always get sold as like a deluxe or a sweet finest pepper or something like that, and they give you like 2 in a bag for like £2 or something, so extortionate amounts. Habanero, nice really hot chili. I think I've only got one of these as well. I've got some still in the other greenhouse that is still in the pots that are even smaller than these, so if they pick up at some point, I'll get those into pots and get those growing as well, because I won't let them go to waste. Then we've got sweet aster. These again are long pointed pepper like the Romano. I really quite like these. I think I grew these in my first year in here, like my first year on the allotment when I just started with the greenhouse. And these grew really well in here actually. I only got them in late though, so they didn't get tons of peppers on them because they went in so late. But the ones that they did get were absolutely amazing. So I've been growing these every year since. I get these from Thompson and Morgan, and you get like 5 seeds in a pack, but they do them like, they're like 80p or something on sale. So I always say that I get them as a bit of a treat, because the amount of peppers that you get off the plants anyway far exceed 89p for 5 plants. So they're definitely worth getting. And then I've got 2 jalapenos. I normally do these in pots, but I've got a couple. Well, I've got a couple. I've got about 20 of these. These are the only ones that have actually actually survived the mouse apocalypse. I'm not sure. Maybe it just doesn't fancy them or something. I don't know. But it ate all the other peppers, so I don't know what it is about jalapeno leaves that it doesn't like. But yeah, I've got these in droves. So there we go. Jalapenos are in. 2 of those. And that is done. I've also got 2 that I'm going to put in this grow bag near the window, like I mentioned, because they're going to live like quite happy with the cucumbers. So, drippers wise, let's have a look. Yeah, I'm not far off. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're as easy as that when it comes to moving things around in your beds and you want to start planting new things. That's literally all it takes. So I'll stick one of those there, because these ones are quite high pressure, they shoot out, so they cover all of those plants with 3 drippers. That one's not really long enough. I'm going to put a longer one on that maybe, just to get these 2 in the middle. But yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, they are small, but they'll catch up. It gets really hot in here in the day. This is probably the best place on the allotments as far as sunlight goes. It gets it for most of the day. I've got some new glass for these bits. These are all the bits. If you watched in the winter a couple of years ago, some kids came in and smashed loads of stuff, and they threw a hammer through the top of my greenhouse. It went through the roof. I came straight down through these windows, so I ended up in total with 4 pieces of glass missing. So I repaired the roof with these ones and then put these bits of feather edge board along there just to sort of fill it in until I could get some glass. But I've got some more pieces and I'm going to put those in because the sun's over there now, and these end up in the shade from that, otherwise they would be in the sun still at this time. It's like, what, 6:30 now in the evening, close to June, so this is pretty much as good as it gets throughout the year now for direct sun, so I want to get those replaced pretty soon so that these peppers are getting the most from it. But yeah, apart from that, I'll have a look at the other peppers in the polytunnel in the raised bed. I'll go and check those out now with you, see how they're doing. I mean, those are bigger than these already, but these aren't that far behind, to be honest. They're a little bit behind, but they're not that far behind. Yeah, let's go and check those out, see how those are getting on. And then obviously keep up to date with my channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you can keep up to date with how these are getting on, how my tomato plants and everything else are getting on. Because I'll do fairly frequent updates on my tomatoes and things. I've got my tomato experiment coming up in the next week or 2. Again, I had to put loads of tomatoes and I had to plant an extra like 20 tomato plants. They're growing in a hydroponic propagator to try and speed them up a bit. Just getting the first true leaves on them now after a week. So yeah, they're doing pretty good. They'll grow pretty sharpish. So I'm hoping if they can grow in the next maybe 2 weeks to having some maybe similar size to these, I'll use them, get those into that experiment without revealing what it is yet. I'll use those because I don't really want to pay for that many plants, because it's going to cost me a fortune. So hopefully they'll grow, they'll catch up, get that tomato experiment underway. That's going in the other polytunnel, the new one. Yeah, let's go and check those out anyway. Been going on for too long about these peppers, so let's get cracking. Let's go and have a look in there. So here we are at the back of the polytunnel in the raised bed. We've got 5 really nice pepper plants. These are growing actually quite nice. They've grown a bit more than I expected. So these nasturtiums, these have done really well actually. I wasn't expecting these to grow so big so quick. Again, we've got the same lettuces that I've just pulled out down there as well, just to fill in the space while everything's growing. Mainly the pepper plants while they grow. Tomato plants doing absolutely amazing. Cherry falls, tons of flowers on those now. They're going to be producing some fruit fairly quickly. But yeah, we're here to look at the pepper plants, aren't we? So let's have a look at those. So we've got the what was this? Patio sweet pepper snack yellow, doing really nice. I can see some caterpillar or slug munching on there, so I'm going to sort that out. What's this? Sweet pepper thaw. Maybe the second biggest one that's growing here. We've got the patio chili pepper hot fajita. This is the first one that I've seen with flowers developing on it. That's quite nice to see, so that means that they're fairly happy in here. I mean, they've got the sun on them now at this time, 6:30. They've had it all day, so this is a really nice speck as well in the allotment, which is why I wanted to put this raised bed here. Because basically the sun goes over from this side all the way over. It's pretty perfectly aligned for everything. Another sweet pepper thaw. This is the bigger one. I mean, that's doing really nice. I mean, when you compare that to the size of the ones in the other side, these are doing much better. And then again, we've got another one of these snap peppers off. Did them quite nice and symmetrical. Absolutely planned it, or it would have done my head in. And then at this end, we've got the strawberries as well. They're doing really good, starting to get some fruit developing on those as well. So I will be eating those in the morning before I go to work normally, along with my peppers, peas. They never make it home. I always end up eating them before. I don't even cook the peas, I just eat them. They're really nice when they're fresh like that. So yeah, absolutely brilliant with all of this. So there we go, all of those lettuces are out of the way and all of those pepper plants are in, ready to start growing and hopefully catch up to these ones fairly quickly. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to keep up to date with all my videos, keep up to date with this raised bed in particular and all of the other things that I've got growing. Like I mentioned, I've got my tomato experiment for this year on the way in the next couple of weeks, which is going to be really good as well. Something I'm really looking forward to getting started. Let me know in the comments what pepper varieties you're growing this year, especially if you're growing some that I've got growing here. Let me know how they grow for you, because these ones that I've got in the greenhouse, normally ones that I'd grow every year, but these ones like that I've got from B&Q to fill this raised bed, slightly different. I've never tried them before, so quite excited to see how they turn out. But if you've got them, let me know what they taste like, especially the sweet peppers. I'm particularly looking forward to the snack ones because I really like taking them in packed lunch and things like that. So yeah, don't forget to let me know how you're getting on with all of those plants, and I'll see you next time.